Time moves with a relentless pulse. It doesn't stop. It doesn't bargain. It doesn't care whether you act or remain still. Every passing second slips beyond reach, never to return. And yet, hidden within that unstoppable current lies a mystery few ever notice. Transformation can happen in less than a heartbeat. This is the paradox humanity rarely understands. We are taught that change is slow, a grind through weeks, months, or years of effort. But the language of quantum physics whispers another story, that the instant you choose, the instant you align your breath with a new intention, an entirely different reality becomes possible. So the question emerges, if time is passing no matter what, which version of reality are you allowing it to carry you into? We're conditioned to believe that change is a long, uphill journey, one step, one struggle at a time. But every mountain has a hidden doorway, a narrow passage invisible to most. And that doorway doesn't open through effort or time. It opens through resonance. Physics tells us that a particle can exist in several states until observation collapses it into form. What if your life follows the same law? What if the future you've been chasing already exists, waiting for you to collapse it into now? This isn't poetic fantasy. It's the truth of quantum potential. But most people never find that doorway, not because it's hidden, but because they're hypnotized by the illusion of time itself. Picture a pendulum swinging back and forth. It seems steady, predictable, inevitable. But look at the still point in the center, the axis that never moves. There lies a space of perfect calm, a point beyond time from which all motion arises. Real transformation begins there, not in the swing, but in the stillness. The irony is that change happens fastest when you step into what's timeless. People chase strategies, affirmations, and validation, yet none of it touches the axis. The axis is found within the moment you stop being carried by life and instead become the observer who moves the pendulum itself. This isn't abstraction. Neuroscience confirms it. The brain is not a fixed machine. It's plastic, adaptable, capable of rewiring itself in moments of coherence. When thought, emotion, and physiology synchronize, new neural connections form instantly. Identity can dissolve and reform within a breath. The belief that change takes years isn't science, it's conditioning, and conditioning is just repetition without awareness. The moment you see through it, you can break it. But that's not the real secret. There's something deeper. Imagine two paths before you. One is long and winding, filled with endless obstacles. The other is almost invisible, a direct ascent to the summit. Most people, guided by old stories and experiences, choose the long road because they trust struggle more than ease. They believe hardship means progress. But what if that belief is the very anchor slowing transformation? What if the shorter path is already available, but your mind keeps deleting it from view? Quantum physics proves that expectation shapes reality. Expect difficulty, and you manifest delay. Expect immediacy, and the shortcut appears. So which timeline are you observing into existence right now? And here's the paradox. Even knowing this, most people still won't act. They'll nod, feel inspired, and then let another day pass unchanged. Time keeps flowing, quietly eroding potential, until one day they wake up wondering where it all went. But you are not here by coincidence. The fact that you're hearing these words means the field has already aligned to show you the doorway. The only question left is, will you step through? That choice doesn't live in tomorrow or next year. It lives here, now. The longer you wait, the more you reinforce waiting as your truth. The quicker you decide, the faster reality rearranges itself. You've felt moments where everything shifted in an instant, a realization, a choice, a single breath that altered your path. That wasn't random. That was quantum law in motion. But why do such moments feel rare, accidental? Because you haven't yet learned to stay at the still point. That's the missing key, and once you find it, transformation stops being something you chase and becomes something you live. Time flows on, merciless, neutral, unbending. But ask yourself, will you let it carry you deeper into the same story? Or will you step into the paradox where change doesn't take time at all because it happens in the now? Keep listening, because what comes next reveals the hidden mechanism behind instant transformation, the truth that will dismantle everything you've been taught about change. Every transformation begins in silence, before thought, before motion, before even desire. It's the invisible still point where the old dissolves and the new takes form. Most people try to force their way through life, to do their way into becoming. But true change doesn't respond to effort. It responds to frequency. When your energy matches the reality you seek, you don't chase it, you become it. The universe doesn't deliver transformation as a reward for struggle. It mirrors coherence. That's the mechanism, not a secret ritual, not hidden knowledge, just alignment so pure that time itself bends around it. Think of a tuning fork. Strike one, and another of the same pitch begins to vibrate. No contact, no effort, only resonance. Your consciousness works the same way. The moment your internal vibration meets the frequency of the future you desire, the field around you rearranges instantly. But here's the paradox most never see. You cannot fake that vibration. You can speak affirmations all day long, but if your nervous system is tuned to fear, the field echoes fear. Your words might say, "I'm ready," but your cells whisper, "I'm not safe." And the quantum field always listens to the whisper. So how do you shift? Not by convincing the mind, by training the body to feel safe in the unknown. That is the real art of transformation. When safety returns to your system, energy flows where resistance once lived. And in that moment, the future finds you. It's not about believing harder, it's about relaxing deeper. Every great leap happens in surrender, not struggle. Look at nature. A seed doesn't strain to become a tree. It simply allows the intelligence within to unfold. Your consciousness is no different. The more you release the illusion of control, the more the field reveals what was always waiting. But here's the beautiful twist: you don't have to wait for the perfect conditions. You are the condition, you are the tuning fork. You are the signal. The field doesn't choose who to favor, it only responds to clarity. So ask yourself now, what frequency are you sending out through your thoughts, your breath, your posture? That's the message the quantum listens to. The moment you align that frequency with love, gratitude, and certainty, your environment, opportunities, and people begin to rearrange themselves as if by magic. It's not coincidence, it's coherence, and coherence is the most powerful technology in existence. Because once your inner world stabilizes, outer chaos loses authority. You stop reacting to life and start directing it. The timeline you once chased begins chasing you. That's what it means to become timeless, to live from the center of creation itself. At some point, every seeker realizes you are not the thoughts running through your mind, nor the emotions that rise and fall like waves. You are the awareness watching it all unfold. That awareness, that silent witness behind every heartbeat and breath, is the true seat of creation. When you live from the level of thought, you exist inside time. You chase outcomes, you measure progress, you wait for signs. But when you live as the observer, you step outside time. You become the stillness that the universe responds to. And in that stillness, reality becomes fluid. This is why ancient mystics spoke of detachment, and why quantum physicists speak of observation collapsing possibility into form. Both were pointing to the same truth, that reality is not something you manage, it's something you mirror. The moment you observe without judgment, without fear or expectation, you enter the field of pure potential, and from there anything can emerge. But here's the hidden trap: most people think being the observer means not caring, disconnecting from emotion or desire. That's not it at all. The observer doesn't suppress emotion, it contains it. Think of the sky holding every kind of weather: sunshine, thunder, rain, calm. None of it changes the sky. You are that vastness. Thoughts and emotions are simply passing weather. When you remember that, you stop identifying with limitation. Fear loses its anchor. Doubt loses its echo. And in that freedom, the field begins to reshape itself around your clarity. Because when you stop reacting to the old story, you stop feeding it energy. And the moment you stop feeding it, it collapses. That's how timelines dissolve, not through battle, but through awareness. You don't fight the darkness, you simply turn on the light. Every time you return to presence, to breathe, to awareness, to the quiet watcher within, you reclaim authority over your energy. You step out of reaction and into creation. And from that space, miracles aren't rare events, they're simply the natural rhythm of coherence. The observer doesn't rush, the observer doesn't doubt, the observer knows because it sees from beyond the limits of time and memory. When you live as that presence, you begin to feel life responding differently. The same challenges no longer carry the same weight. The same people, the same circumstances suddenly begin to orbit a new version of you. You've seen this happen before, moments when a single decision or realization seemed to shift everything around you. That's not chance, that's quantum alignment in action. And the more you remain as the observer, the faster those shifts occur. Because you are no longer adding friction through doubt or overthinking, you are simply being, and being is the purest act of creation. When you rest as the observer, time bends to your awareness, energy flows in your direction, and life becomes a reflection of your inner stillness. That's how masters move through the world, not with more power, but with less resistance, not with louder action, but with quieter certainty. They don't chase energy. They embody it. They don't react to life. They generate it. And that's the shift you're being called into now, from being a reactor of experiences to being the observer who shapes them. Once you awaken as the observer, a quiet knowing begins to rise within you. You were never separate from the field. You are the field, experiencing itself through human form. The air around you, the thoughts inside you, the rhythm of your heart beat, all of it hums to the same frequency. There's no line dividing you from everything else. That separation only ever existed in perception. When you begin to live as the field, the illusion of struggle dissolves. You stop trying to manifest things, and instead, you become the vibration that draws them in naturally. It's not about attracting anymore, it's about allowing. You've spent years trying to bend reality with effort, but the moment you realize that the universe breathes through you, effort turns into flow. You don't push energy forward, you open and let it move through. Everything you once chased, peace, abundance, purpose, love, is already encoded in the field around you. When you match that frequency within yourself, you don't need to search for it outside. This is why the masters always spoke in paradoxes. To find yourself, lose yourself. To receive, let go. To know, unlearn. Because the field doesn't respond to control. It responds to coherence. When your mind, heart, and body vibrate as one current, the field translates that harmony into visible form. Imagine dropping a pebble into still water. The ripples travel effortlessly outward, touching everything. That's what happens when your inner world becomes calm. Your energy begins to ripple through creation itself, and life reorganizes around your clarity. Living as the field means no longer asking, will this work? But simply knowing it already has. Because from the level of the field, the outcome exists the moment the frequency is held. Time only exists to deliver what you've already become. So walk as the frequency, breathe as the field, speak as the vibration of what you already are. When doubt tries to return, smile, because even doubt is part of the same field, only vibrating at a slower rhythm. Welcome it, witness it, and let it pass. The universe doesn't need you to be perfect. It only needs you to be present. Presence is the signature of the field. It's what turns energy into matter, vision into form, and possibility into experience. And once you begin to live this way, you'll notice that the world starts speaking back to you. Numbers, synchronicities, faces, opportunities, everything becomes a reflection of your inner coherence. You no longer need to ask for signs, because you are the sign. Life begins to mirror your frequency with precision so clear that it feels like reality is in conversation with your soul. When you live as the field, something extraordinary begins to unfold. Time no longer feels like a straight line. Moments start to bend, overlap, and dissolve into one another, and you begin to sense what the mystics have always known. All realities already exist. Every version of you, the one who struggled, the one who rose, the one who mastered peace, they're all happening simultaneously. You don't become those versions through effort. You simply tune into them. Timelines are not roads you travel, they are frequencies you align with. And the instant your energy matches a new reality, your world rearranges to reflect it. That's why the greatest shifts happen in an instant, because time doesn't cause transformation. State of being does. Think of it like a radio. Every frequency already exists. When you change the dial, you don't create a new station, you simply start receiving it. Your consciousness works exactly the same way. When you release the vibration of doubt, fear, or waiting, you stop tuning into the old timeline, and suddenly, new possibilities, ones that were always there, become visible. This is what it means to collapse timelines, to withdraw energy from the version of reality that no longer matches your vibration. The moment you stop feeding the old, it fades from existence. You've done this before, even without realizing it. The times you outgrew relationships, habits, or environments that once defined you, you didn't destroy them, you simply rose beyond their frequency. Every expansion is a timeline shift. Every realization is a portal. But here's the profound secret: you can do this consciously. You can decide right now to align with the version of yourself who already lives the life you've been dreaming of. That version isn't waiting in the future. It exists here, just vibrating at a higher rhythm, and when your energy synchronizes with it, you merge instantly. That's how people heal in a moment, manifest opportunities from nowhere, or suddenly become what they once only imagined. It's not luck, it's resonance. When you realize this, you stop asking how long will it take, and start asking how aligned am I right now, because alignment collapses time, it shortcuts cause and effect. It bends probability into inevitability, and that's where you begin to understand what it means to become infinite. Infinity isn't something outside of you. It's the awareness that every possibility already lives within you. When you rest in that awareness, you no longer chase outcomes. You embody them. You no longer seek proof. You are the evidence. Every step you take, every breath you draw, becomes an act of creation. You move and the universe moves with you. There is no separation between you and the miracle. You are the miracle remembering itself. And when you know this, truly know it, you stop asking the field for permission. You start commanding it with love, certainty, and stillness. That's what it means to be infinite, to live beyond time, beyond fear, beyond the illusion of waiting, to breathe as creation itself. And so, after all the searching, after every revelation and awakening, you return to the one place you never truly left now, the beginning and the end of every journey. The axis around which all timelines turn, the still point of creation. Here, there is no past to regret, no future to chase, only this breath, only this infinite moment unfolding itself through you. You begin to realize that you were never trying to reach the field, you were remembering that you are it. Every heartbeat is the pulse of creation. Every inhale, the universe becoming aware of itself. This is where true mastery lives, not in controlling life, but in becoming life. Not in forcing change, but in being the vibration that calls change forth naturally. When you dwell fully in the present, you become untouchable by fear. Fear only exists in the timeline of what if, but in the now there is only clarity, and from clarity everything flows with precision. The now is not small, it's not a fleeting second, it's the vastness where all realities converge. It's the canvas where every potential takes shape. When you live here fully awake, fully aligned, time bends, opportunities multiply, and peace becomes your natural state. You no longer need to rush. You no longer need to prove, you simply are, and that is enough. From this place you speak and the universe answers, you imagine and the field arranges, you move and creation moves with you. Everything you once tried to find outside yourself, love, purpose, abundance, belonging, was simply your own frequency waiting to be recognized. You don't chase miracles anymore. You create them by breathing, by being, by knowing. The truth is simple and infinite. You were never separate. You were never lost. You were only asleep in your own dream of limitation. And now you're awake. So stand still for a moment. Feel the pulse of existence moving through you. This right here, right now, is the intersection of all possibility, the center of time, the birthplace of creation. Welcome home, welcome to the now, welcome to the field.